Welcome back. I hope you had an awesome weekend. Today is Monday, and there are a couple exciting things going on. Number one, I have glasses, so I can finally see you, and I'm really excited to be teaching with my glasses again. I found them. Actually, Jack found them. And number two, I have this little whiteboard, which is super nifty, so I don't need to write on posters anymore. So it should be even easier to do our math together. Make sure that you have a pencil and a paper, and we will get started. Our first problem is blank plus 37 equals 100. So before I begin, I'm just going to make sure that I label my part whole so I know how to rearrange this number as easy as possible to solve. Go ahead, start working. So let's jump into solving here. So that's so I can write and you can see super easily. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and label my parts and my whole. I know it's an addition number units, so my total is going to be, my whole is going to be on this side of the equal sign. So I'm missing a part, but I know one part, and I find the total. I'm going to start by rearranging this because blank plus 37 equals 100 is like kind of a tricky way to solve a problem. So I'm going to make it into a subtraction number sentence by writing 100, which is my total, minus the part I know, which is 37, equals blank. Now, there's a couple different ways that I can solve this. One easy way is to count backwards, and I'll show you that last. Another way would be to make a number line, start at 100, subtract 37, so I'm going to make one big leap back, minus 30. And I know that 100 minus 30 is 100, 90, 80, 70. Also makes sense because 10 minus 3 is 7. And then it's not just minus 30, it's minus 37. So I'll do my 1 next. 70, 69, 68, 67, 66, 65, 64, 63. So 63 is my answer. Another way that I can do it is the algorithm, but the algorithm is going to be a little bit tricky for me. And I'll show you why. Because there's a lot of zeros, but it would still work. So I'll show you. 100 minus 37. Can't do 0 minus 7. Can't borrow from here. Got to go next door and get 100 more. That 1 becomes a 0. Now I have 10 tens instead of 0 tenths. But I'm not done there because I still have a 0 in the ones column. So I'm going to go next door and get 10 more. That 10 becomes a 9. And now I have 10 ones because I borrowed 10 from the tens column. 10 minus 7 is 3. 9 minus 3 is 6. I have 63. Got the same answer both times. That's an awesome way to double check. Now, another way to do it is to just do it in your head. You know that you're starting at 100, so you can just count back 37. 100, 90, 80, 70, and then go back 7 more. 69, 68, 67, 66, 65, 64, 63, 63. And that's your answer. It's usually pretty easy to count backwards and forwards from 100, so that's always an awesome option. Okay, let's go on to number 2. How many inches long is this? So and go ahead, I'll give you about 1 minute to solve how many inches long the chicken is. So let's figure out how we can measure this chicken. Also, um, I think I did a great job drawing a chicken, and other people in my house that I showed this to did not agree. So I hope that you enjoyed my chicken and at least could tell that it was a chicken. Great. So the first option is to count hops. Now, it would be easy to just think, oh, this is 7 inches long because the chicken ends at 7. But did the chicken start at 0? No, he did not. So I can't select the endpoint. I have to see how many hops the chicken extended because it didn't start at 0. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. The chicken is 4 inches. Now that works. I can always count how many hops it takes me from the beginning to the end of the chicken. But another option is to look at where the chicken ends, the end point, and where it starts, the starting point, and do a number of seconds. 7, take away 3. So 7 minus 3 equals 4. The chicken is 4 inches. So 2 really helpful strategies for using rulers when they don't start at 0. One is counting the hops, and the other is subtracting the starting point from the ending point, looking at the difference. And remember, in both of these, I got 4 inches, and also in both, I remembered to include the word inches. If I just put a number, then my reader might think that, or whoever's reading my work might think it's centimeters or feet or meters. I need to always make sure I specify that I'm measuring in inches. Okay, let's move on. Your next job is to round 76,411 to the nearest 100. Start by thinking, what 200 is this number between? Excuse me. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in here. So this is a really big number. This number is 76,411. But this problem is telling me that I need to round to the nearest 100. So actually, the 76,000 part doesn't matter. I need to worry about 411. I see that there's numbers in the tens and ones place, and that can't happen. When I'm rounding to the nearest 100, it needs to be 0 to the tens and ones because I need to find what the closest 100 is. I'm going to start by drawing a number line. Now, whenever I'm rounding to the nearest 100, I need to think, okay, what is the closest 100 below, and what is the closest 100 above this number? So I know that it's 76,411. And remember, I'm kind of going to ignore the 76,000. I'm only worrying about the hundreds right now. So 76,000, what would be the closest 100 below? Well, it's 411, so it would be 76,400. And what is the next 100 above? 76,500. Notice that between these two numbers, the only digit that changes is the hundredths digit. Okay, so now I have 76,400, 76,500, and I need to find my midpoint. Because if it's on or after my midpoint, I know I have to round up. And if it's below, I know I need to round down. So what is the midpoint of those two numbers? Well, 100. So this is a jump of 100, so I know that my midpoint is going to be a 50. So it's 76,450. All right, now I have my number line here. And I need to find out where my number would actually go. Because I'm trying to figure out if it's going to be less than or greater than this midpoint. Well, 411. 11 is definitely closer to 0 than it is to the next 100. And it's definitely less than 50. So I'm going to probably guess that 76,411 would be about right here. Now, which is it closer to? 400, this leap, or 500? All this is closer to 400. And that also makes sense because it is less than the midpoint of 76,450. So the closest 100 is 76,400. That is how I would round this number to the nearest 100. Now, you might have just known this in your head because you might have seen 411 and known that it's only 11 greater than 400, so that would make sense. But if you were confused, hopefully this line helped. Answer is 76,400. All right, your final task is to figure out what time it is in these two clocks. Make sure you pay really close attention to, let me fix this one right here. Make sure that you pay really close attention to the hour and the minute hands. Take about 1 minute time. Go ahead. Let's jump in here. Let's make sure that you can see. Okay. So when I'm looking at this clock right here, I'm seeing the long minute hand on the 11. And I know that that is, well, I know 6 is 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. So it's almost the next hour. Now, my hour, and I know that going in, my hour hand here looks like it's just about on the 3. So you might think, oh, it's 3:55. But that would mean it's the 3's hour. And it's actually almost on the 3, but it's not quite there yet. So I know if it looks like it's almost on the 3, but it's not there yet, it would make sense if it was 5 minutes before. So in this clock, it's actually 2:55 because it is just 5 minutes before it will be 3 o'clock. It's still the choose hour. This is a little tricky because the hour hand might look like it's on the 3 already, but it's still a little bit before, and I know that because the minute hand hasn't passed the 12 yet. And this one right here, the hour hand looks like it's almost on the 6, but I see that the minute hand is on the 10, and I know that that means it is something 50, 40, 45, 50. So I know it must still be the lower numbers hour. It's not quite 6 o'clock yet, so it must still be the 5's hour. So it is 5:50. The hour hand isn't quite on the 6. It's 10 minutes away from 6 o'clock. All right, team. Have a great rest of your Monday, and I will see you tomorrow.